war. If war should come, you shall not call a halt until the aggressor is beaten. Democracy will triumph.
Winston Churchill is generally regarded as one of the great leaders of the 20th century for his tenure as the British Prime Minister from 1940 to 1945, but his long and varied political career was not consistently successful. The man who saved Britain in World War II struggled as a peacetime leader.
After an aristocratic upbringing and army service in Sudan, India, and in South Africa during the Second Boer War, Churchill became involved with politics as a member of Parliament. He was first elected as a Conservative in 1900 and then switched to the Liberal Party in 1904, where he was a harsh critic of the party he would later lead, the Conservatives.
Taxation will make food dearer. Our taxation will make land cheaper. That is our policy. That is the issue. Choose for yourself.
In 1922, he moved back to the Conservatives, where he stayed for the rest of his political career. Churchill's ambition, drive, and energy gained him cabinet roles as Secretary for War, Home Secretary, and as First Lord of the Admiralty.
In 1929, the Conservatives were defeated and Churchill was thrown into the political wilderness. Churchill remained unpopular throughout the 30s as people saw him as an old-fashioned right-wing extremist, but his stubborn independent streak allowed him to see reality. He was a persistent critic of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis and an advocate for Britain's rearmament, an unpopular position so soon after the slaughter of World War I.
Nearly 70 million who are being taught from childhood to think of war as a glorious exercise.
Keine Lehre des Glücks, des Zufalls, sondern eine Lehre der Arbeit, eine Lehre des Ringens und damit auch eine...
The lead-up to World War II was defined by English and European appeasement of Hitler. Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain promised peace in our time, which he temporarily secured by giving Hitler Czechoslovakia. Churchill was First Lord of the Admiralty in 1939 and early 1940s. In this role, he was a poor leader who bungled the convoy strategy, mismanaged the Norway campaign, and fired a key commander who questioned him when he lied to the British public about the U-boat threat.
When Chamberlain resigned in May of 1940, Churchill became Prime Minister. It was the beginning of the Battle of Britain, the air war and bombings of London and other major cities. Britain stood alone among nations, and Churchill's pugnacious bulldog spirit won over the people with his determination and candor.
I have never promised anything but blood, tears, toil, and sweat.
He bombed German cities and fast-tracked the buildup of fighter squadrons, Spitfires and Hurricanes, ultimately winning the Battle of Britain. Despite the punishing bombing raids by the Germans, Hitler was never able to gain air superiority. Churchill was an instrumental figure in leading the British Commonwealth and Empire in opposition against Hitler. Politically, he centralized power in his own hands for quick decision-making. He was masterful in helping to convince the reluctant US to first provide support and then to enter the war as an ally. Churchill led Britain and its allies to victory by April of 1945, but soon after, the British electorate threw him out of the office in favor of the Labour Party. His leadership style was ill-suited for peacetime. Following the 5 years of Labour government, Churchill and the Conservatives won the 1951 election, and he was Prime Minister once again. In his second term, he didn't enjoy the popularity or success of the war years. Churchill implemented domestic reforms in areas such as sanitation, safety, and housing, but these were overshadowed by the colonial uprisings in Kenya and Malaya. In 1955, Churchill suffered a stroke and subsequently retired. His health from then on deteriorated, and he died at 90 in 1965. Winston Churchill will forever be remembered for being one of the great leaders of all time. His extraordinary strength of character shone in war, but was met with less success during peace and when he occupied certain subordinate roles.
I have to tell you now, this country is at war.